Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Edith. I am a holistic health coach specializing in plant-based nutrition, and this video is going to take you through a day in the life eating fully raw vegan. So I started a 30-day raw vegan challenge on June 1st. And I am recording this on June 27th, so I'm nearly 30 days raw, and I have been absolutely loving it. And for anyone who doesn't know, I've been eating a high raw diet for probably close to 7 years now. And when I say high raw, I mean anywhere between 70 and 90% of my food intake being raw food. So in the winter months, I definitely was closer to that 70%. Maybe I even dipped down to 60% when I was living in Seattle, of only 60% of my food being raw. And then I would do like some steamed vegetables, some cooked vegetable soup, some rice, some oats, some cooked legumes. Those were kind of my go-to, and I really do enjoy those foods. Don't get me wrong, in an ideal world, I would continue to eat those foods. However, I have been studying raw food for about 10 years, maybe even longer. I think the concept was introduced to me about 15 years ago. And I think through the Garrison therapy, and I just continued to be drawn towards the raw food lifestyle. Now, I am not someone who struggled with a debilitating illness. I haven't had like a chronic illness that has kept me stuck or limited my quality of life in any way. I haven't had to lose a significant amount of weight. So I'm not someone who's been drawn to this lifestyle from a health crises point of view. Of course, I've struggled with some health stuff throughout the years. I don't think you can not do that in this day and age on planet Earth. But I haven't had anything like huge where it's kept me from working or kept me from working out or anything like that. And so I've really been drawn to this lifestyle from pure passion. I've known from the age of 11 and 12 that I have a passion for health and wellness. And honestly, since then, I've been drawn to health and nutrition and wellness content and information. And I've been reading whatever I could find from a young age about health and nutrition. So as I've progressed, as an adult through, my life, and then learning and gravitating towards more and more information, it has become very clear to me that the healthiest way of eating is a live food diet, so a raw vegan diet. And I've just been kind of taking my time over the last 7 or 8 years. When I was living in Florida, I definitely was eating mostly raw, like I would say 90, sometimes even 100% raw, because it was so easy, because it was so hot. And I really only wanted like smoothies and juices and salads. And that's when I wrote both of my raw vegan ebooks. And it was really, really wonderful. And then when I went back to Seattle, I've been going through quite a bit, dark night of the souls and things of that nature, which I'll share in a different video. But I really struggled with the cold environment there, and I was really drawn more back into the hot foods. Like my body literally could not handle the cold foods as well there. So I've just been really lenient with myself, and I did make the decision to leave Seattle for a variety of reasons, but one of those reasons was because I do want to really try out this fully raw diet, because of all of the information that I've come across and the intuitive downloads that I've received. Everything is pointing towards that is the healthiest diet of all. And even though I'm not struggling with a debilitating illness, I have a lot of other challenges in my life, and I've come to recognize that in order to be my best self, in order to make the best decisions for myself, in order to take appropriate action, in order to be in a positive mindset, because the situation that I'm in, I can't really afford to be in like a victim mentality and a negative mindset. Because I don't have any support. So I have to really show up for myself on a daily basis. And that's kind of what's drawing me towards the living food diet, towards the raw diet, because I know that that is going to promote the most energy, the most vitality, the highest cognitive functioning abilities, and the highest potential for me to connect with my higher self and to be able to receive those messages, those downloads from my spiritual team to help guide me through this life path. And that's ultimately what's drawing me. And then, of course, also because I am 44 years young now, I do recognize that the physical avatar that I'm in does also need more healing properties, especially with everything that we're up against in this world here. So there are so many things out of our control. There's literally contaminants falling from the sky. Our bodies are up against a lot. So as we do progress in this life, in these bodies, our bodies are going to require, the most healing foods. And the most healing foods are the plant foods, and specifically the plant foods that haven't been altered, so haven't been cooked. You guys know that when you cook a food, or if you don't know, if you're new here, the food is going to lose its life force. So I'm not saying you can't eat cooked food. I've obviously eaten cooked food all the way up until this point, and I'm doing fine. However, I have eaten high raw for the last 7 or 8 years. And when it's time for you to start making these transitions in your life, you'll get that message. Maybe you're watching this video now because it's the right time for you to receive this first message. And depending on your circumstances, maybe now you're ready to start taking action towards it. Or maybe this is just planting a seed. Who knows? Everybody's on their own path, and it's really important not to judge anyone or to feel pressured by anyone. It's really important to just do what is in most alignment for you. But if you are looking for the diet that promotes the most healing, it is going to be the raw vegan diet. And so what I meant to say just a moment ago is when you cook a food, you're diminishing the light that's coming from that food, from the sun, from the earth, from the water, from all of the elements. Everything has life force. So my body has life force, your body has life force. We're emitting light while we are still alive, while we are still embodied. But when we're no longer embodied, the light diminishes from the body, right? Same thing for when you kill an animal. That animal no longer has light. So you're not taking in any light from that animal being. You're actually taking in suffering. You're actually taking in more harmful properties than beneficial properties when you're eating animals. But when you're eating plants, that life force stays in the plant for much longer. A lot of plants are still alive, after they've been picked, like a banana, for example. You have to let it ripen on the counter, right? It's still alive. There's still life force in there. And there's Kirlian photography that you can look at, also known as biofrequency photography, where you can take a photo using this specific technology and you can see the light being emitted from the food, from the being. And there's clear evidence showing that when you've cooked a food, the light has been diminished significantly from that food, even if it's a plant food. So that's ultimately why the raw food diet is the most healing, because you're taking in those light frequencies in addition to the living water, in addition to the enzymes in the food, in addition to the higher vitamin count, and then the minerals. The minerals don't get lost when you cook a food, but all of those other things do that I just mentioned. So if you are interested in eating more raw food, and you don't have to go all in at once, I've taken my sweet time You know, just start incorporating more raw food each day. You know, start with the breakfast meal. The breakfast meal is the easiest meal to start with. Don't put too much pressure on yourself if you're not in a state where you absolutely need to start healing immediately. You know, if you're not dealing with some debilitating chronic illness, don't put pressure on yourself. Go at your own pace. Do one meal at a time and see how it goes, okay? So it's really important to honor your stage of life wherever you are, and just do the best that you can. So anyway, that was kind of a long intro. Sorry about that. Hopefully you are still here and still interested. But the remaining of this video, I'm going to be showing you what I eat in a day, staying fully raw. And I'll probably do more videos like this because I am going to stay fully raw for quite some time, at least throughout the entire summer. I'm currently in Hungary and it's about 90 some odd degrees here. And it's going to be very easy to stay raw. And then when I go back to the States, I am going to be moving to Arizona. So I'm leaving Seattle because it's just not in alignment for a variety of reasons, but also the climate, as I mentioned. So I have lived in Arizona before. It's beautiful, it's hot, it's very much in alignment with a raw food diet. So anyway, that is my intention for the near future, and I'll definitely be taking you guys along on that journey. So I hope that you stay tuned, and I hope that you enjoy this video. And as always, just let me know what you'd like to see and what type of content you are interested in, and if this was beneficial for you in any way. But now I'm going to take you through all of the meals that I make, and let me know if you decide to make them, and I'll try and get all the recipes in here as well for you so that you are able to recreate these meals if you feel called to. I know I've shown you guys this a million times, but I just wanted to include everything I consume in a day, except I didn't record my lemon water. I had 32 ounces of lemon water. And then the next thing that you guys have seen many times is my celery juice. So I normally make 32 ounces. I'm just getting started. There is my celery that is already washed and somewhat prepped. Now I'm just going to give it another little bit of a chop and then add it into my Nama J2 juicer. And if you guys are interested in getting a Nama juicer, I highly recommend. I've been using them ever since they first came out. And I have my discount code and my link to shop in the description box below, and I can put it on here as well. But yeah, this is the best juicer I've had, and I've been juicing for about 15 years now, so I've had many others prior to this juicer. So yeah, I'm gonna just chop up enough to get 32 ounces, and I'll show you what that looks like. And if you haven't heard me talk about it before, the reason that I make the 32 ounces of celery juice every morning is because I have read all of the medical medium books. So I follow a lot of the medical medium protocols. Specifically, if I have anything that is bothering me, any kind of a symptom, then I follow medical medium 100%, and the symptom always goes away. So he was the one who introduced all of us to the healing powers of celery juice. And there are so many, I'm not going to be able to list them all right now, but I primarily drink celery juice because it is antiviral, and I recognize that we all have viruses within our bodies, including myself, and it's also really wonderful to strengthen the hydrochloric acid in your stomach to improve your digestion, which I also need to work on. So that's primarily why I drink celery juice every day. It doesn't taste the best, but it is something that you can handle, and it's really easy to make. It's a single ingredient, but I will say that it does require some commitment to keep it going and some discipline, just because it is a little bit of work, and also it doesn't taste great, but I managed to do it. So my breakfast today is going to be watermelon, and I typically do start the day with fruit. Sometimes I go right into a smoothie that's fat-free, but when it's really hot and when I do have some really good melon, I always go with melon. So I'm very excited to eat this. It is so refreshing, and I don't limit myself. I eat as much as I want with the fruit. So this will typically be enough. But if I want more, I have more in the fridge too. So I'll go back for seconds, maybe in like an hour or two. Or maybe I'll go into a smoothie. I'll show you guys, but that's typically kind of what I do. I do either or. I decided to make a smoothie next after my workout, and I have some spinach inside that I'm going to use that we got from the store, but I'm also going to cut a couple of leaves of kale to add in from the garden bed here. So that's what we are doing right now. Okay, so here's everything I'm going to be using for my smoothie. I feel like I've shown you guys my daily green smoothie a million times, so today I wanted to show you a different smoothie that I make often as well. It is my chocolate cherry smoothie, so it is a little bit more savory. It feels indulgent, but it's really not. It's actually still quite health promoting. The only main difference is I use plant milk instead of water as a base, or instead of coconut water, or instead of fruit juice. So I use plant milk in this one, just because it pairs better with the cacao and the frozen cherries, I think. But I'm still going to use quite a bit of greens. So I have some spinach here that I am washing in some filtered water. And then I'm also going to add in those kale leaves that I had just harvested. This is a chunk of date paste. I normally use like 2 large medjool dates, but I don't have those here in Hungary, so I'm using date paste. And then here is the cacao powder. This is actually like cocoa powder from the Netherlands. And I feel like there isn't caffeine properties in here the way that it's processed, but there's no any other ingredients besides potassium. And then I'm going to be using frozen bananas, of course, and frozen dark cherries. And these cherries are from here, so they're local. We just pitted them and then froze them. And then I also add in some cinnamon, and then I'm also going to add in some more greens in the form of a greens powder, just for more nutrients to cover all of my bases. I've been using Thermo Greens from Sun Warrior. This is their unflavored variety, and it has a ton of other superfoods in here, things that I currently don't have access to, so I love adding this in. And I don't think you need to. However, I do think it's like, I look at it as insurance, like another boost. And there aren't any harmful ingredients in here because this is unflavored, so that's really great. And yeah, basically I'm just going to add everything in, blend it up, and I'll show you what it looks like. So here is the dinner salad that I've been having pretty much every single night since eating fully raw. I think virtually every single night. And basically all it is a bunch of raw vegetables chopped up. Underneath all of these veggies, I have some butter leaf green lettuce. That's my go-to for a salad, but I've been mixing that up. So some days I'll do arugula and spring mix and add some spinach in there. And I've also done some kale and some sorrel, mix that in. It's really nice to get a variety of different greens, but if you're looking for the most pleasant, chewing factor, then that butterleaf lettuce is going to be your best bet. It's also the easiest to digest. And then on top of the greens, I have shredded carrot, tomatoes, radishes, red pepper. I have cucumbers, and then I also have apple in here. So I technically do have a fruit, well, although cucumbers and tomatoes are fruits as well. But anyway, I have a sweet fruit in here, and this has been a game changer for me for helping to stay fully raw, because while I was eating high raw, I would add in steamed vegetables into my salads. And since incorporating fruits, I feel like that satisfaction in place of the steamed vegetables. So that's been a game changer. I highly recommend doing that. I've also done peaches and mangoes in salads as well, and they all work really nicely. And then I have purple cabbage here. I have chopped up red onion, and then I am also going to be adding on some lentil sprouts that I sprouted myself. And then this is my raw vegan walnut meat replacement, and I'm also going to be adding some of this as well. And this also helps to fill that need or that gap that I was feeling without the steamed vegetables. So this is going to add more satiety, a different texture, more flavor, and a little bit more healthy fats. And then here's my salad dressing. This is kind of my base for all of my green dressings. I'll show you the herb that I'm going to incorporate in just a minute. But in the bottom here, I have 1/3 cup of raw cashews that have been soaked. And the liquid in there is lemon juice, fresh pressed lemon juice, and water. And then I also have some seasoning. So I have garlic and onion powder and some salt in here. I have a couple of cloves of garlic. I have a green onion chopped up, a large medjool date, about 1/3 of a zucchini. And then at this point, that's the base. At this point, I would just add whichever herb I'm using. And for today's herb, I'm going to be going with basil. So I generally rotate between cilantro, dill, and basil. We have these beautiful basil plants. And so basically all I'm gonna do is just cut off as much as I wanna use. I like to do a lot, so I'll do like a full handful to take up the rest of the space in this blender cup. Add that in, and then I'm gonna give it a really good blend to where everything is fully emulsified. And then I'm gonna taste it. And then when I taste it, I adjust the flavor to whatever I feel like it needs. Oh, I also have a bit of a jalapeno in here. That just reminded me. So I'll give it a taste, and it might need more medjool dates. If it needs more sweetness, it might need more lemon juice. It might need more garlic. It might need more salt, just depending on how the flavor is. So I highly recommend doing that, and then just giving yourself like that leeway of like, you know, adding a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that, whatever it is that you want to do. I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute when I'm pouring it over. So after I have this salad, I honestly do not crave anything else. It is very filling and very satisfying. So after this, the only thing I've been consuming is another 16 to 24 ounces of lemon water and my Vimergy supplements, and that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will be sharing more very soon.